South Uist off the west coast of Scotland. Though it's just an hour by plane from Glasgow, it feels wild and remote. The island in the Outer Hebrides is mostly known for its plants and bird life. Windswept South Uist has hit the headlines for another reason. A large pod of long-finned pilot whales has strayed into Loch Carnan. They were spotted by workers on one of the island's fish farms. It looks like they're in bad shape. The Scottish SPCA's team were quickly on the scene to assess how serious the situation was.
About 20 of them had wounds to their head and to their noses and things like that, and we got photos sent off to the specialists that are here just now. We've just been monitoring the positions that they've been moving to. The concern obviously was what they were on strand.
Stranding is just about the worst thing that can happen to a whale. It occurs most often when the animal is sick or injured, but it can take place when the weather is particularly bad, or the whale's sonar navigation system goes wrong, like here on a beach in New Zealand. This normally quiet part of the island is turning into quite a spectator area, as locals and tourists try to find the best view of the unfolding drama. Mass strandings are rare, but with up to 100 animals in this pod, rescuers and onlookers are fearing a beaching that could lead to dozens of deaths.
There's quite a lot of whales here. Exact numbers are difficult to tell at the moment, but we estimate at least 60, possibly more. And if they do strand, we're going to need as much equipment as possible.
If there is a stranding, the Scottish SPCA will need all the help they can get. British divers Marine Life Rescue have just arrived with as much equipment as they could carry.
We should just go round, A, to check that there's nothing on the shores, and B, just to try and identify any sites where, if they do strand, they can get their pontoons launched. So that's the best way to do it. I've been an inspector here for 21 years, and I've never seen this number of pilot whales gathered in such a small area. So potentially, if the worst scenario is that if they all beached at the same time, we would not be able to cope. We only have so many flotation pontoons from the British divers, and we would not have the manpower to cope with such an incident. You can just never be sure with these things, can you? No. They can go one way or the other so quickly. It can just change in an hour, no?
After almost an hour of searching, there's still no sign of any whales. Even in the shallow waters where they'd first been spotted.
Yeah, are you prepared to go quite far out?
Aye, as far as we need to go.
Good show. This is the inlet that they'd come into yesterday. So as you can see, there's quite a drop in the tide. You can imagine this full to the top of the high water mark, and this is where they were all swimming here. You can imagine all that whales in there would have looked really quite impressive, you know, having them all in such a tight area. No wonder my auxiliary was alarmed, to say the least.
If the whales come back here and stranded, it would be a tragedy. South Uist is just off the west coast of Scotland, and it's day 2 in the search for stranded whales. The weather's closing in. Even some of the island's hardiest inhabitants aren't used to this. But the terrible conditions won't stop the hunt for the stricken pod, and Senior Inspector Calum sets off to check the headland where the animals were last seen. Calum's worked on a lot of whale strandings in the Hebrides since he arrived on the islands from Aberdeen more than 2 decades ago. But he's never been involved in as big a potential disaster.
I was out at 5 o'clock this morning and they were much further out. They've come in a good bit now, quite close into this shore here. Who knows what they're up to?
Whales can be inquisitive. These ones are spy hopping, bobbing up out of the water to have a look at something. It could be the shoreline, a boat, or other whales. They're using their buoyancy to keep their heads above the waves, a little bit like humans treading water.
This is really unusual to see this amount of pilot whales this close. It's just concerning that the rocks are just here and we've got this massive pod so close in.
The story is developing fast,
Excuse me.
and Calum's fielding media calls
Hello? I don't know if you can hear them, they're that close. Definitely moving, and I'm as closest to them as that I've been.
and giving interviews at the scene.
And how did they seem today? Did they seem in any distress?
Just a few minutes ago, they had come in really quite close, maybe about 70, 80 feet. It's a total waiting game. These are wild animals in their own environment. Nobody can predict what they're going to do.
Night has fallen over South Uist, and there's been a significant development. A dead whale has been discovered, and the Scottish SPCA team is on the move again. Senior Inspector Calum Watt and the island's auxiliary Amanda MacDonald are on their way out to the power station near Loch Carnan, where the drama began 2 days ago.
The British divers are out in a rib, just off the headland here, and that's where the dead whale is.
A young one, they think it is. And that's why we think they're all.
And just have to go and see what the story is. And there's some whales up off there.
Pilot whales form strong family bonds, and it's possible they've followed the injured animal onto wherever it's been stranded.
They'll probably be taking it into the harbour here beside the power station. I think there's a bit of a slipway there, they might manage to get it up. So the chances are this animal will be examined and post-mortemed, and it might give us some sort of clue as to what's going on.
The dead whale's been towed up to the harbour slipway at Loch Carnan. The media, who've been following the story, want to know what happened.
We need to do a post-mortem now tomorrow morning. It could be that this was the cause of all the issues that we've got here, but we need to know if this animal was sick or has it died because it's stranded. If it's died because it's stranded, it's possible that the other ones that we've seen with body damage were stuck in the same point.
This is our first dead whale of the pod. Who's to say that there isn't more out and about, you know? It's as simple as that.
The whale needs to be pulled onto the slipway so it can be tied up, ready for tomorrow morning's post-mortem.
They were this side yesterday morning, remember? Yeah. But they weren't over there.
Yeah. But it could have drifted.
Mm-hmm.
And if it died
Yes,
in the water,
yes,
maybe if it died in the water, it
I mean,
was
so
right.
we don't know if it's alive stranded or we don't know if it died in the water. This could just be the beginning of a lot more of these. Maybe just a one-off. We just don't know. There is injuries in the head here, and I think I can more or less identify this with some of the ones that we took photographs of. The vet will post-mortem it tomorrow and have a look and see whether it was alive stranded, did it die in the water, then get washed ashore, did it come ashore in a live strand and then die.
The day ends as it began,
You'd be found dead. But
with Calum briefing the media.
this could be the first of many. We hope not, but you know, the vets will now have to.
The next morning, and Calum is up early. Overnight, the pods disappeared from the waters around South Uist.
It's sad that we had one dead whale, but the rest of them can't be found. They've gone, hopefully they've gone deep sea, and people have been looking for them where they were last seen yesterday. They're not there, and hopefully that's them back into safer water, and that's the end of this possible whale stranded scenario.
The post-mortem revealed the most likely cause of the pilot whale's death was an infection. The rest of the pod swam out of danger and back to sea.